Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome to another episode of Bhagavatam Bites, where our backs are against the wall. Just another brick in the wall. Feature wall. Wonder wall.
Off the wall.
Off the wall. And we're reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. Yay! Hari Hari Bol.
Canto 4, Chapter 14, Text 41. All the fours.
444. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Text 41. The great sages began to think that although a Brahmana is peaceful and impartial because he is equal to everyone, it is still not his duty to neglect poor humans. By such neglect, a Brahmana's spiritual power diminishes, just as water kept in a cracked pot leaks out.
Wow.
Purport. Brahmanas, the topmost section of human society, are mostly devotees. They are generally unaware of the happenings within the material world because they are always busy in the activities for spiritual advancement. Nonetheless, when there is a calamity in human society, they cannot remain impartial. If they do not do something to relieve the distressed condition of human society, it is said that due to such neglect, their spiritual knowledge diminishes. Almost all the sages go to the Himalayas for their personal benefit, but Prahlad Maharaj said that he did not want liberation alone. He decided to wait until he was able to deliver all the fallen souls of the world. What does that mean though? Because we're not all delivered, are we? Is he still here?
I don't think Prahlad is, no.
That's all I've got to say.
Okay, if anyone out there has an answer for our dear Bhava Bhakti, then please write what you think is meant there. I could, of course, give my own purport, but I'm going to give up giving purports and just read Prabhupada's purports. So next verse, next paragraph. In their elevated condition, the Brahmanas are called Vaishnavas. There are two types of Brahmanas, namely Brahmana Pandita and Brahmana Vaishnava. A qualified Brahmana is naturally very learned, but when his learning is advanced in understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he becomes a Brahmana Vaishnava. Unless one becomes a Vaishnava, one's perfection of Brahminical culture is incomplete. This is interesting statement. I've not heard this before. Of course, I've read the Bhagavatam before, but realization is that it's interesting. We're reading again with one group. We have a reading group, and we're reading certain lectures and sections that Prabhupada we've read in other books. And as I'm reading them, I'm like, well, part of me feels this is ever fresh. But another part of me feels like I really should remember quite a few things from this because I read it already. And it just goes to show that we can read something again and again and still be so forgetful. That's why Prabhupada said we should study his books, which is actually different from reading. Of course, reading in a group is more nourishing and it's beneficial, but to go deeper, we really need to actually study, and that means put things in our consciousness deeply and remember them. But yeah, it's an interesting statement. So there are two types of Brahmanas, one who's just a Brahmana, a Pandit, and the other who, by his learning, becomes a Vaishnava, which is considered higher. I mean, Prabhupada's using the terminology Brahmana Vaishnava, but in general he uses, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used the term just Vaishnava and Brahmana, and Vaishnava is considered higher than a Brahmana. And there's a lot of stuff about that, but we'll get into that another time.
Okay. There's text 42. The sages decided that the descendants of the family of the saintly King Anga should not be stopped, for in this family the semen was very powerful, and the children were prone to become devotees of the Lord. Purport. The purity of hereditary succession.
Oh, you didn't read the last paragraph of the previous purport. I was wondering what was going on.
Oh.
It's okay. She was so busy, kind of like, doing a thing about me that she, Hare Krishna.
The saintly persons considered very wisely that although King Vena was very sinful, he was born in a family descending from Dhruva Maharaj. Therefore, the semen in the family must be protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Keshava.
Goldhead. Goldilocks. Supreme Personality of Goldilocks.
As such, the sages wanted to take some steps to relieve the situation. For want of a king, everything was being disturbed and turned topsy-turvy. That's a cute phrase.
What? Topsy-turvy?
It's English, isn't it? But it's interesting, for want of a king, everything is going to pot, because unfortunately in this modern day and age, you could say it's due to the king that everything's going to pot. But this is back from in the day when leaders were leading from the front and leading with example. And now, unfortunately, it's like, I'm entitled to a private life and I'm entitled to do this, that and the other, but I'm still the monarch and I'm still leading. Not to get political, but...
Yeah, this is not a political channel. Before we move on to... you completed?
Yeah.
Before we move on, I really think that this is an interesting statement in the Bhagavatam, the verse itself, that the Brahmanas, they're impartial, but they're also equal to everyone, and still it's not his duty to neglect poor humans. What does that mean? It means the general masses. Of course, we may talk about looking after each other, looking after devotees. We talk about devotee care a lot because they're so dear to Krishna. But here we see that it's important to look after everyone, all humans. I think Prabhupada picks up in the purport, or in another place he mentions about different living entities, different animals and everything. But by neglecting to look after others, a Brahmana's spiritual power diminishes. So and the example is just as water is kept in a cracked pot. Not a cracked pot, but a cracked pot. It leaks out. So, yeah, I just think this is very, very powerful. I think it relates very much to the compassionate nature. And Prabhupada is saying there's Brahmanas and then there's Brahmana Vaishnavas. So for sure a Vaishnava would be this type of person also. Anyway, that's it.
Okay.
Since you already started, would you like to go ahead and read 42?
42. The sages decided that the descendants of the family of the saintly King Anga should not be stopped, for in this family the semen was very powerful and the children were prone to become devotees of the Lord. Purport. The purity of hereditary succession is called Amolga Virya. The pious seminal succession in the twice-born families of the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas especially, as well as in the families of Vaishyas also, must be kept very pure by the observation of the purificatory processes beginning with Garbhadana Samskara, which is observed before conceiving a child. Unless this purificatory process is strictly observed, especially by the Brahmanas, the family descendants become impure and gradually sinful activities become visible in the family. Maharaj Anga was very pure because of the purification of semen in the family of Maharaj Dhruva. However, his semen became contaminated in association with his wife Sunita, who happened to be the daughter of death personified. Because of this polluted semen, King Vena was produced. This was a catastrophe in the family of Dhruva Maharaj. All the saintly persons and sages considered this point, and they decided to take action in this matter, as described in the following verses. It's interesting, isn't it? It's the purity. These men have purity, but it's because one of them came in association of, well, the daughter of the death personified. So that's why King Vena's a bad seed, as it were. But maybe King Anga should have picked a proper, decent wife, and then that wouldn't have happened, irrespective of his wife being the daughter of death personified. He didn't need to go there.
Yeah, interesting. Some of us are just drawn to bad seeds, I guess. I mean, that's what happens in life, isn't it? Somehow you just become attracted to who you become attracted to and don't care if their daddy is death personified.
I mean, that's a red flag right there, isn't it? Who's your daddy? Oh, he's death personified. Oh, maybe we'd just be friends.
Yeah. I think there's a lot in this purport. Prabhupada really discussing the transition, not transitioning, but not transparent, but yeah, transitioning, I guess, of good qualities through the family line being done, of course, through the semen, which means through the man, but also how important it is that certain samskars are performed and purificatory rites and different things like that. So Prabhupada really promoting and encouraging that, speaking and starting with Garbhodan. So yeah, it's very, very powerful, very important, the consciousness that we have when we conceive of a child and bring another soul into the world. What is the consciousness? Of course, it's going to be very hard for that consciousness to be on a super high level pure platform, because you're engaging in procreation, which in and of itself is a passionate act driven usually by some level of lust or, material desires, you could say. So, but to purify that, to focus it, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, I am that sex life which is according to religious principles. So when we dovetail it and engage it for a higher purpose, then we attract a higher living entity and divinity to intervene like that. It's just a thought.
All right.
Should we stop it there? I think we'll call it a day.
Call it a day.
Call it an evening.
It's a morning.
It's a morning for us. And yesterday we experienced 2 earthquakes here in New York City.
Yeah.
Whoa, yeah.
You never think it, would you, in New York?
Well, Bhumi Devi is not very happy, and the material, and it was nothing. In one sense, it just, the building shook.
And the sofa where I was sitting.
Yeah, anything that was in the building, it also shook.
Yeah, I don't just the literal.
So the toothbrush as well, the cups in the cupboard, the kettle. But yeah, I mean, for me, it was just like, just a taster. And even then, it was like, oh, because, it could have just been like, oh, and then, and like stuff could have started falling down. The earth could have opened, who knows what. So it was really just Bhumi Devi and material energy going, wink, and here I am. Don't forget, like you said the other day, you might think you're in control, But once Mother Earth decides to do something, she'll light your whole world on fire. She'll bury you in the earth. She'll cover you in water and rain. She will crack the earth open and swallow you whole. I mean, and there isn't anything at all you're going to be able to do to stop it. That's why it's so vitally important that we become spiritually aware, spiritually alert, and Krishna conscious, because that is the only thing that will save us at the time of death.
Yeah, like one devotee was saying yesterday, because I was getting messages from London saying, you're right, you're right. And one devotee said, but aren't they supposed to know when these things happen? Because you get warnings. They are like, what is it, meteorology? You know, where they're looking at patterns, looking at this, looking at that. And I was thinking, yeah, no, a lot of the natural disasters, people get caught unaware. I mean, you can't control material nature, because whose nature is it ultimately? It's God's nature. And just as can't control yours, you can't control mine. You know, do what I want when I want, as it were. You can't really control, so you're definitely not controlling God's nature. And when he wants to just you know, little tremble for him, which is a major trouble for us, there you go. So I thought it was really powerful, the realizations. I was thinking like, yeah, that's God, you know, that was Krishna, that was however, whatever you want to call it, God, Krishna, Jehovah, Allah. But it's like, you know, but the point is, it was a higher force, and people should think, yeah, you know, for all, like when we look around here in New York, buildings upon buildings, high-rise buildings, and you think that none of that is going to protect you. I'm sorry.
In fact, just the opposite. It's going to crush you.
Yeah, I mean, my family was saying, oh, you're on the 6th floor, you couldn't even jump out the window. I said, no, because the window, due to health and safety, don't even open that much anyway, even if I wanted to jump out. So I ain't going nowhere. Anyway, all glories to Krishna.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Nantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Hare Krishna.